Hey everybody, Larry here, Boxcars Garage. So we are going to make some sheet metal patch panels happen today. So we're going to go after this driver's side again. And if you remember the last video, we got the inner support here at the cowl in a much better state than what it was. We got the old stuff out and got the new stuff in. I still have yet to drill out the right down here is where the there's a connector bolt that connects down to the frame. I still haven't drilled that out because I'm wanting to put this car on the 3536 chassis before I commit to making that hole. But that will all eventually happen. I haven't done the two on the side of this because I'm going to hold off until I get my fenders. And so, yeah, I'm not putting a lot of holes in things right now because I would like to get this thing on where it's going to set for real before I do that. But we are going to work on this cowl patch, this lower cowl patch, typical to the 30s era Fords. They all like to rot out down there. I think it's actually because there's a combination of like the basic construction, the way that they sandwich multiple layers of metal, I think is undesirable in the form of, it just holds a lot of water for a long time and it rots. And then also, I think the windows were notorious for leaking water down along the sides, and for that matter, the doors probably were too. But so they're always rotten. I've got this template in place right now. I can show you what I've got when you take this template away. I've got a little bit of information to go by because I still have the top part of the original bead. So I can use that in my cross check. I use that in building this little template deal because I needed to know like that swoop at the forward edge area. I needed to know that in order to finish out my rockers. And so yeah, I've got a little bit of that going for me right now. I've been studying my references. I pulled these from multiple projects on the ham, and I'm using these as like my guide as to how I'm going to fabricate this particular patch. I thought it might be worthwhile to break down how I'm going to build it. So you can see I've got most of the vantage points that you would want to, review if you were building the part. And I'm going to make this part in 3 pieces. The box, the cover for the box, the main support here, it's going to have a cover made for it, and that's going to be a piece. And then it looked like this example here, they left this edge on the top of the box, this one that goes kind of diagonal. It just shoots out at 90 degrees. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that, shoot that out 90 degrees, and we're going to make it long to where that can be the major portion of the ramp that happens up underneath this cowl piece. And then the second part is going to be this outside facing area and the steps that happen here below the body line, and then it shoots toward the frame of the car. That'll be one part. And then at this edge, rather than have the same part turn 90 and wrap around to become a portion of that A-pillar, we're going to go ahead and plan on making another piece for that A-pillar area. Probably we'll split it like right there. It'll get welded. This side will get welded to there, and that'll allow me to just use a bead roller on this piece, and I don't have to worry about stopping. I can just take it all the way through and work out the termination. And then this right here with all these steps on it can be done with the brake. And then you weld the two together and bam, I've got a big part. So that is going to be the game plan going into it. A while back, I did a little exercise. Let me see, here was the exercise result. I did a little exercise with the old power hammer, and I was kind of tickled to death over, you know, how this did. I was like, yeah, that'll work. And then I got to experimenting with, let me see, where are my dies? Oh, here's my, these are the dies that I made. They're pretty crude. They're pretty crude. I did them. I didn't spend a lot of time on them like I probably should do in the future. But this profile really is, it's a little bit wide. I wasn't 100% happy with how that turned out, but what I was happy with was how this this quarter panel turned out as far as the profile. And it matched up really good to the existing bead as it goes up and over the wheel well. And I did that profile with a set of Mittler Brothers Lassie Edition 3334 dies. And then I did my step. I'll have to think about how I did the step, but I'm going to repeat this formula over there and it'll be samey same. So that is what we're going to do. We need to get some material cut for this piece right here. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll get the music cranked up and we'll get you on hyperspeed and we'll make something happen. Let's go. So we got an issue. Despite my best effort, I've got an issue with this thing cupping, and things start to get weird as you start to, I did this rollover, and then I did a tipping die maneuver on this right here to get that up, and then I did it again right here. Okay, so it's always my goal to make a part in as few pieces as possible with what I have, and this right here was kind of a exercise of aggravation. These steps ended up, well, I don't know if it was the steps that I put in that ended up getting this, out of shape the way it is right now, or I ran this through the planishing hammer, and maybe my dies aren't aligned exactly the way they need to, and maybe I stretched some here. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this about right there all the way across to where my shrinking can make more of a deliberate effect with pulling this thing down. So that's what we're going to do now. Cut it back. Okay, so all in all, I'm pretty happy with where the patch is going right now. I initially had some moral reservations with this body bead right here, because I knew it wasn't as close as I wanted it to be. And the problem was like the top part, the top radius is like a 1/4 inch radius, relatively small. And then the bottom, it's a pretty deep, it's the same radius, but it goes in like a 1/2 inch. So you've got about a 1/2 inch from the face of this patch to the outside face of the body bead, and then the step that occurs at the bottom of this body bead is a 1/2 inch from the face here. So I was like a 1/4 inch out from being right, and decided that I wanted to try to figure out how to make that happen. I could not pull up a way to do it with the beads that I had and basically got frustrated. So I went ahead and decided if I had to, I'd go ahead and cut the piece apart, and I would do it that way, and suffer the requirement of a weld up after I got the two pieces right, to make my overall piece more correct. And that's what I ended up doing. And I haven't completed the weld up yet. It's just tacked in a couple of spots, so I've got to go ahead and knock that out. But I will do that probably today. Today I'm going to focus on trimming up some of my patch. I made it extra long here on the front and in the back. And then I've got to build basically a sheet metal box over this box, and that ends up getting integrated into this piece as well. I'll probably just keep it calicoed once I get it all welded up and together and everything's fitting right. I'll just keep it calicoed to this area, because there may be some value in being able to slip that out when I'm working on this A-pillar right here that I haven't started yet. So we got a little bit more to go.